Okay, so for tonight, because Carolyn is actually witnessing for us tonight's meditation, because she's sitting underneath the fire extinguisher with the wire that I tied around the top. So she's actually living in trust right now. And so let's ask yourself, what is trust?
Trust?
Trust.
That's a teacher's qual.
What is trust? Is that what it is? What is trust? What does it mean to trust? So let's spend a few minutes just digging in on that. What is trust? What does it mean to trust? What does it feel like to want to trust? If you want to trust, are you trusting? What is it like to really trust? How do you know that you trust? something, somebody, how do you know? What does it mean that you really trust? What does it mean? How you will be? How you would feel? How you'd respond to somebody or something you truly trusted? 100%. 110%. And finally, is there anything here that you trust 100% what we're talking about? See if you can find something that you would have this perfect trust in. You know, it might be nice sometime to do like a 30-minute guided meditation on some of these biggies. Where we just get deeper and deeper, flush it out, explore.
Just kind of biting a chunk off of it and then like going. It's like,
Yeah, kind of like we're just getting started. Yeah, that might be kind of fun sometime. Maybe for a gathering we'll do that.
How goes the switch there?
Right.
What is trust?
It's kind of like acceptance. I was thinking faith because faith is like believing without seeing. And, you know, in trust, it's not like they prove themselves to you and then you trust. It trust, you know, it's kind of total faith and acceptance.
Yeah.
You just like to let go of the fears.
Okay, so I let go of the fears.
No doubt.
And what Wendy's saying, there's a faith involved. Because if you knew, you wouldn't need trust.
No, I think trust comes from the word truth.
Yes?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of like faith in the truth.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's a combination.
Faith that it is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you knew, you don't need faith. Do you need faith that that post is there?
No, especially if I'm on my head.
I was going to say that the candle's there, but that's a special candle. You could argue it's not.
Waxless candle.
You could argue it's not even a candle. Yeah, but there's a wooden post there holding up the ceiling. Do you need trust or faith that that's there? No. Can see it, feel it. Probably everybody here is rubbed by it or pushed on it.
Except,
Yes.
okay,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
then you start doing the workbook,
Yes.
and it says nothing I see means anything.
Yes.
So that post is actually not there.
Yes, indeed.
There. So it's interesting. The whole idea of trust has
Yeah.
been completely manipulated and juxtaposed
Yeah.
to all of these concepts presented in the course.
Yep.
I noticed that trust is not even covered in the terms. I think he skateboards around trust because he
Well-
spends the whole course telling us that anything you see isn't really there.
Yes. Well, that's really
It's
true.
not in the terms.
There's.
I think the trust is for the ego.
It's a really. That's right.
Exactly. It's an ego term.
That's right.
It's for ego.
Because
That was good.
and because we're in a world of separate things and competing things, where we have to make choices to have an outcome, we need faith. We need trust. And the Manual for Teachers is a very
Faith is there, but trust is there.
well. Trust is there. Number one is trust. In the
Well, listen,
Manual for Teachers on page 9, you'll see it's the very first attribute of a teacher of God,
Yeah.
who is somebody who's done the workbook.
Okay. I was looking at terms. Sorry.
That's all right. But I still like what you said that he.
I like what she said because it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, without our egos, nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
with our ego, nothing we see is real, and she's right. So she's looking. That's
Yeah.
true also.
Yeah.
But being in an ego, pointing to the direction of peace.
Yes.
One of the things that bring me peace is having trust.
Yes. Trust is this very important surrender.
It feels peaceful.
It's not required when you know. Do you need trust in heaven?
It's not required.
Do you need trust for spirit?
Not unless you're afraid it's not so.
Not unless you're afraid it's not so. Exactly.
That's the
There must
value.
be a fear component, just as you say. Yep.
I got this picture as soon as I closed my eyes because I think in pictures a lot.
All right.
You know, of the classic person and somebody, although there was nobody else in this picture, and I don't know who the person was, maybe me, probably me, doing that lean back thing, and I'll catch you.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Nice.
And I thought, I wonder who's there catching me. And then I thought, oh, that has to be me. I have to trust myself first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That
This is a great example.
really-
To do the lean back thing. Everybody here has done that? You know what she's talking about?
Yeah,
we should do that someday when
yeah.
This is,
Never lean back.
I've
but
done
you know what we're
that
talking
in a
about?
circle.
Where you stand on your heels and you let go and you have to trust that the person behind you is going to catch you.
Oh, yeah.
You've done this?
Oh, I relate to that.
We should do that when there's next time we have a lot of people.
So in order to do that, you have to surrender that you're going to take care of yourself for a minute. So you are trusting your decision
Trust
to let go. Yeah, that's right. You are definitely the path through which trust flows. Trust is not an outside job, it's an inside job. Yeah.
That was really interesting.
And Elisa says, you're overcoming fear. You're definitely surrendering this protective promise or defense
doubt.
of fear. Yeah.
Well, for me, when you said how do you feel when you're not trusting, I feel in conflict because I thought about it. Why do I feel in conflict when I'm not trusting? And I thought about it, and what came through is the part of my mind that knows that you are innocent and you are innocent and you are trustworthy is in conflict with the ego's doubting and not trusting. Because the part of my mind that knows the truth that I could surrender and trust.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then I thought about it, but not everybody behaves would catch me. But then I remembered what I was taught. I could trust that person to be who they are. I could
Yes.
trust that person not to catch me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean they're going to catch me, but I could trust
Good.
that they will be who they are.
Good.
Even if there's somebody that's going to, like when we play tennis, I can trust that they will consistently be who they are. It doesn't mean I'm going to be an idiot and say, I trust you, and I'll lose my life to them. I'll trust them being however they are.
Very good, Wendy.
So it went all the way.
This is how you trust the pedophile. It's how you trust the murderer.
I'll
You trust the crook. You trust the person who stole your purse.
So is trust? See, I'm confused. Is trust? It feels like trust is an emotion or a phenomenon of the
Like
ego,
a faith.
of the ego, not of the spirit. So
This-
if we have to decide, if we're in our God mind, we don't need to trust because
Good.
everything's love.
Good. Good.
But if we're in our ego, then the
Yes.
whole idea of surrendering fear.
Then
Yes.
there's a need to have that miracle.
So trust is a phenomenon of the ego?
Yes.
It's not of the, because it says even in the teachers here, he says, the teachers of God have trust in the world
Mm-hmm.
because they have learned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because
Yes.
they have learned it is not governed
By the laws.
by the laws the world made
yeah.
up.
Very good.
Okay, so they have trust in the world because they know the laws are of spirit.
Nice phrase.
The trusting and knowing that it's not going to hold up.
Yes, that's right.
The trusting that it's not going to hold up, that it's on a foundation that's going to collapse.
They trust in the world because they have learned
Yes.
it is not governed by the laws of the world made up.
They trust in the world because they have learned that it is not governed by the laws that the world made up, that the ego made up.
So the world is governed by the laws of God,
Yeah.
by the laws of spirit.
The world is governed
Our ego.
by your choice in how you perceive it.
Yeah.
As you see it, so it is.
Right.
Create your world. So.
You do. You make it
Whatever we put our attention on, that's what we see.
as you go along.
So where does trust fall? That's what I'm trying to.
Right in the front of the teacher's manual.
That's what she's reading
No,
from.
I know. I mean, I know where it is in the book, but like, where does it fall in that
Right
scenario?
there.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're.
You don't go behind it. Go
So
through
if we
it and
see
through it.
the world is what we see. Where does trust fall into that? That's where I'm confused.
Yes, yes.
That's a good question.
Yes, 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 yes.
So where would you put it?
What does it mean to trust? Because we're jumping ahead of ourselves, saying, where does trust fit? I think will be more obvious where trust falls in. We get a little deeper on what does it mean? What does it mean that you're doing when you trust?
You're having faith.
Everything you do,
What does it feel like, Claudia, when you trust?
same
You
face.
feel safe.
Aha, you feel safe.
No fear. I don't know.
I just feel
Safe.
feeling safe, being safe.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And perhaps that whatever it is you're trusting has your interests. Is capable of taking care of you. It's capable.
Or it won't
At
hurt
least it won't hurt you.
Maybe it might not take care of me, but it won't hurt me.
All right, that's good. That's very good. That's even clearer.
Yeah.
At least it's not out to get you.
Right.
It won't hurt you. Yes. Good. Yeah.
And I think if you trust in somebody, I think you feel completely at ease to be yourself, and you feel uninhibited, and you don't feel like you need to put on any airs.
Mhm.
You can just be completely yourself.
Nice. No defenses,
Right.
even necessary. They would get in the way. Any kind of defenses would dishonor.
That trust, yeah.
And you wouldn't take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to be defenseless. Defenseless.
Defenseless is such a beautiful thing.
Defenselessness.
Defenselessness.
Another attribute of the teacher of God.
Guiltlessness.
In my defenselessness, I am safe.
My safety lies. Mhm.
My safety lies.
Oh,
In my
right.
defenselessness, my safety lies. But again, this is my issue. It sounds like, Kenneth Wapnick says, okay, so we have this, there's this dot, right? He says this is the dot of the decision maker for any choice wherever you are. You have a choice to think with the ego or think with the spirit. And he said that our mind is that we have the decision maker inside. So it doesn't. It sounds to me like if we're thinking with the spirit, trust is not going to be an issue because there's no fear to surrender. There's
Nothing, right. There's nothing to surrender.
so trust is when we're thinking with our ego.
Yeah.
I just need to know where it lies. Sorry, I need a map. Okay.
I feel like the ego needs a miracle.
Yeah.
The ego needs the trust.
So the ego
Yeah.
needs trust.
The
So
ego needs
trust
the
is
trust.
a phenomenon of the ego.
Yes.
Okay. But do we really want to be in our ego anyway? Do we want that?
Do you have a choice to be in or with your ego?
Yes. That's the decision maker.
Okay, that's good. That's good. We have a choice. Now, how often do you choose ego? Let's just say, out of 100%, what percentage would you say you're sort of working?
Ask somebody else. I don't want to say.
Yeah, a little
It's
embarrassed.
high.
Yeah, it's really high.
95.
99.95.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
That's
We're
why this
graduating.
book
Okay,
is
0.94.
I'm almost done the workbook.
This is good. Yeah.
That's so my ego.
No, look, if you take 24 hours in a day, and we don't know what we're doing in our sleep, but you got a clue by how you wake up. So just in your waking hours, if you take 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute, and so 3,600.
Like maybe 5 minutes every hour when the buzzer rings, I remember my lesson, and then it goes back again.
And even when you're working through the lessons, what we're doing is we're setting the ego aside. We're still working with the ego. We're catching the ego. We're seeing the ego and deciding to set aside those thoughts, if only for a minute. Sometimes it's just for a second. Some of these lessons say you'll just get 1 second of this, and you will have saved lifetimes. It's true.
And the thing is, basically, I think when I'm sleeping and having dreams, it's almost the same thing as when I'm awake and going through my day. I'm still dreaming.
Yeah. Now, so the point
It's
is,
just I'm awake.
the ego is very present here. Don't kid yourself. Very present. Now, 1 second, 1 instant even, of a holy, it's called a holy instant. 1 holy instant is more powerful than a lifetime of ego experience. It's, in my case, I've lived this. When I've got a holy instant, is more real. The times when my mind, my eyes opened up after a miracle and forgiveness, and I find myself in this spaceless relief of a holy instant. Those moments stand out in my life as more important than any other moments or visions or experiences that I've ever lived.
So, but in a holy instant,
Mm-hmm.
we would not. There's no trust necessary in a holy instant.
Why not? Correct. Why not?
If you're in the present.
A holy instant is a
Yes.
is like it's like saying
You're in the truth.
it's like very optimal. It is the
Optimal.
optimum. You can't-
Optimal. Right.
It is the optimum. Right?
Mhm.
It's,
Mhm.
You can't
Yes. Yes.
characterize it.
Yes.
Or
Why is there no
Complete it.
trust necessary in the holy instant? Remember what we said about what it feels like to trust and the kind of things that we're dealing with, so that
Because it's in the present, there's no past or future
Yeah.
to anticipate anything other than accept what
well,
is.
well, okay, so the present, good. What else? What else? In a holy instant, would you not need to trust? There's no room for trust even.
Because you're already
because you're all that is, you're everything.
Because it's complete.
You're complete.
It's complete. There's nothing that can be added to it. Nothing can be taken
it's that
away.
perfect oneness.
Yeah. What else is there about this complete holy instant? There is this sense of knowing. There's a solid sense of completeness, of knowing. There's a complete release. The holy instant arrives at the dismissal of all its competition, which would be judgment, which would
Letting
be
go of all those blocks.
fear, which would be anticipating or
Conflict.
remembering. All the
Doubting, conflict.
these are the ego. The list I just went through.
Removing all the blocks, and all it is love.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
We are the love, and we experience the oneness.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're aware of it.
Like when you were saying, what is trust in the meditation, I wrote down, I was thinking of writing down love. Look at love. Because that's, but then I'm thinking, well, no, because love, in the spiritual sense, you don't need trust. But
Mhm.
here on earth, in our ego,
Mm-hmm.
when you love somebody, you trust them. Or when you trust them, you love them. Or it's,
Yeah.
this-
Now, I like what you said that. When you love somebody here,
right. You trust
you
them.
said, you trust them. As if it's written at line 3 in the contract.
I mean, you should
You
be able
said
to.
you love me,
We hope.
therefore, ergo sum.
That's why there's hardly any divorces, you know.
Yeah.
You said.
Because you said you loved me, I therefore trust you.
Oh, for me, the trust is really acceptance.
No, that's the mechanical acceptance. Yeah,
Because it's not
a little
like I
higher.
trust you to do this.
Good.
I just accept. And I trust and accept
Yeah.
what is.
But you are an evolved angel. Okay?
No, I don't really do that. I'm like,
Most
Yeah.
people in the special relationship,
I'll take
it
it.
is a contract man. I mean, it is.
All right, I'll
And
take it.
I think trust goes with like a special relationship. Again, it's of the ego. I think trust is a phenomenon of the ego.
Uh-huh.
I really
Yeah.
do.
Uh-huh.
I don't think.
Atta girl.
And so the special relationship, which is flawed
Yes.
in principle,
Yes.
it's based on another flawed principle, trust, which is of the ego, a flawed entity that we made up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole lecture is about flaws.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I'm glad you
I love that.
I'm glad you
That
started
was
to own
great.
it a little bit there.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
did that catch that? Did you get that? That was great. That was great. Though. I mean, that got right down to the.
But you really have. But you're right on track. You really have to feel this importance in the of what trust entails. It entails allowing something you cannot see or you do not know, surrendering to that this thing won't hurt you or won't attack you.
That's faith.
As a
Trust and faith. Trust and
I think
faith.
Trust and faith are not the
They
I
go
don't think
they,
this
they
is-
go hand in hand.
I think faith is of God. And
Why is it
trust
so
of man.
complicated?
Nice,
Oh.
nice.
What?
Well, like I have
Why-
faith
why
in
is
the
trust?
principles of the Course in Miracles because of some experiences I've had and some experiences you had and you've had.
Yes.
It's built my faith in really trusting
Uh-huh.
that even though I don't always do it right, it works when I do it.
Yes, yes, yes. So now, why is it so complicated?
Yeah, why is it so?
What's the
The
resistance?
ego feels threatened.
What's the resistance?
The ego is feeling threatened right now and on
Yes.
the hot seat right now.
Yes.
The ego thinks, I might die if you start accepting this and believing this. I'm going to die because I won't be as powerful. So our ego right now is like fighting it like survival fear right now. Because if you buy that, where am I?
If
won't
you
be-
trust,
you
you
won't
are undefended. Oops.
Well, for me, there's a moment-to-moment experience with this
Yeah.
all day long.
How so?
Every thought that develops, one thought develops a second, there's a choice. All day long, whatever we're doing, if you observe it, you'll see, wow, what the hell is this? Okay, you have a thought about something, well, maybe she's not going to like her birthday present. Okay, or what about her birthday present? Okay, is it going to fit? Is it going to fit? Is she going to take it back? Did I spend too much money on it? No, I'm talking about real simple crap. But for me, that brings in the whole texture of everything we're talking about in terms of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's what's happening moment to moment, the choice by choice all day. Okay? Now, I would say I'm very trustworthy, okay, if I could go through the day and maintain my connection with the Holy Spirit, which is a part of me, all right, that is my director, my decision maker. When he hears this BS coming, he just takes his quick wipe and whatever and gets rid of most of it. And then there is something usually after that, and that is what I'm learning to trust more than anything. And I don't have to read a book about it. I mean, I've read a lot about it, but it is just experiencing what the hell is going on. And I can say right now, I've worked on this, be attentive to my thoughts, right? And I still flub. The ego sometimes can break through the wall and put me in a tailspin. And guess what? I didn't even really recognize it until it blew up.
Yeah.
And then I said, how? Then I have to go back and see what I trusted the ego's income statement, whatever.
Yep, right.
Do this.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's what's happening.
Yeah. That's what the Course in Miracles says of itself, that it is a course in mind training.
Yeah, it is.
And what we're training the mind to do is trust in the trustworthy, to not value the valueless.
Right.
Now let's talk about faith for a moment. So, yeah, here's the way I see this. You have a concept. Starts with a concept, an idea. You don't quite understand it. It's got a name. It's been introduced to you. It's just a concept. Like, for example, I'm going to give you a copy to the door to my house. Would you come by and feed my dog while I'm away next week? The concept is, I'll give you a copy of the key to my house. It's a copy. I'm going to go make it. It's a copy to the key to my house. Okay? Haven't seen the key yet. Certainly don't know if it's going to work. It's a concept, right? It's an idea. Yeah, it's an idea. All right. So now I'm going to take this concept of a copy of the key that works. I'm going to advance it a little further. You say, I agree, Andrew. I will feed your dog. As long as that key works, I will be happy to do this. Now, there's a belief, because we're moving forward, and I believe that if I make a copy of this key, she will feed my dog, and it's all going to work out great. We're advancing a bit now. Now I'm going to, oh my goodness, it's 4:59. I run to the locksmith on Friday night, and I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Run to the locksmith and say, please copy this key. Copies the key, and now I have something I believe in. I believe I have a copy to the key to my house.
Not sure it works yet.
I don't know if it works yet. I don't know that this concept, that now I have a belief. So I'm going up a scale a bit now. I got a belief now. I'm owning, I'm working with, I'm relying on a little bit, I'm sharing, we're talking about it. I'm going now to give it to her and say, here is this belief we're both sharing in the key. So now, I'm exercising, as I go for the plane, I'm moving my belief into faith. I'm moving my belief in the key working into faith by acting or committing, no longer protecting my dog, no longer defending her health or her happiness or her food. I'm turning it over to Jennifer.
You're going to trust.
I'm going to trust that this key works. How do I trust?
It's a great example.
By faith. You see, I'm not trusting him saying, you know, I'm going to cancel my flight. I didn't have a chance to test this key, and I can't stand the idea of my dog starving to death.
Great example.
So I don't have any faith in this key. Therefore, I'm not trusting it. I'm not going to act on it. It's the unseen and the unknown that requires faith and trust. Now, if I take the key off my keychain that I've used for the last 10 years,
Doesn't require.
I don't need faith or trust in the key anyway. Jennifer is a whole different story.
No, I just thought of something. Faith is the facilitator for trust.
Yes.
So it's just like it's a different tense of the same.
Yeah.
It's the
Facilitator,
same
because
substance.
now, so let's get to that facilitator word a little more. Now, I am getting on the plane. Jennifer here, she is also in the point of,
She doesn't know if it's going to work.
she only has a
I would
belief.
break a window. I would never let your dog starve.
I'm glad to know. Okay, now you're hired.
But I would pay for your window. Even if I broke it, I would not let your dog starve. I promise.
So Jennifer's in a situation. I'm already committed. I'm on the airplane. I'm committed, right? Jennifer has the key in her hand. This is still a belief. He says, well, I don't know. She drives to my house, and she puts the key in the door. This is faith. Is acting.
Faith in action.
Because she could call me and say, Andrew, don't get on that plane. What if it doesn't work? I don't have the ability to trust this key because I have a cement windows. You can't break in the dog. This key has to work. It has to work. I'm not willing to trust this key. Therefore, I'm not willing to have an act of faith, which is, let you get on that airplane. So she holds me back. Don't get on the airplane. Yeah. We haven't tested the key.
You're not going to morning.
What is she looking for? What is she looking for? She's looking for knowledge.
Proof.
She wants proof. She wants knowledge so that the faith isn't needed anymore. And the trust isn't needed anymore. She wants certainty. Now, the moment she goes to my house, puts the key in, she's still anticipating. Oh my God, we don't know. Turns the key, and here's that bolt slide over, click, click, turns the handle, door is open. Ah. Dog comes around. Everything's good. Yeah. So see, the faith has manifested
That was excellent. I
that
love
trust
analogy.
was worthy, but it really hasn't
There's
manifested
something
the
wrong.
trust.
Andrew,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with
You
this
know-
argument. Wait a minute, I'm going to fight
It's
it.
a lack, it's a lack of trust all the way through.
It's a lack. That's right. That's right. It's a lack. Now, so where would the
That's really good.
Dick, where would the trust be?
But in my case, what about the trust?
Yeah.
Well, I would have first had a thought about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have communicated it internally,
Yeah.
and I would say, "You're going to take a chance on this.
Take a chance. Very good.
Take a chance.
Take a chance. Yes.
It could mess up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nothing's intentional
Uh-huh.
here.
Uh-huh.
No mischief.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I say, well, I'm in a half go with the situation.
Uh-huh.
Can I get an input from you?
Uh-huh.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The inner voice.
Uh-huh.
What do you think?
Uh-huh.
And sometimes I don't get any.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Other times I get quiet. Okay. Very nice. Okay.
And then what happens at that point?
I
Surrender.
I forget all possibilities of the damn thing failing. It's going to go.
There we go.
That's it.
At
That's
that
it.
moment,
That's it.
trust has arrived.
Yeah.
When we have somehow granted permission to not worry, not
There's no
fear,
conflict
not
anymore.
doubt, not defend, there's no conflict anymore. The Holy Spirit is there for that. Course in Miracles is there for that, to give us access to the truth. Access to peace.
And trust doesn't really depend on how you're going to act or what she's going to do. Trust comes from the thought in my mind.
Yes.
It doesn't come from, well, what if this person doesn't do this or do that? Really, the trust comes from my thought where I'm putting my attention to.
Yes.
And what I'm willing to focus on or surrender.
What does it feel like to trust?
It's amazingly
Wonderful.
peaceful.
It feels wonderful,
It feels
peaceful.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to trust, Carolyn?
You just let go of fear,
Right.
conflict,
Uh-huh.
judgment.
The
I mean-
thing with, as I was thinking about your analogy of the key, which was great, is that even if the key didn't work, that would be okay too.
Yes. The entire road.
Not having it depend on the outcome that what the outcome I want is that key works great. I go in and feed the dog and everything's hunky dory.
Yes.
But also trusting that it's okay if the key doesn't
It's
work.
all right.
Yes. Now let's take the two
It's fine if
paths.
the key
I like
doesn't
that.
work.
Wow.
We got
Good point.
we got Carolyn's path
That's real.
of receiving the key from me,
It's not dependent on what the other person.
and then we've got somebody else's path who's the worrywart, does not have trust intact, and it takes them 2 days, their day, to get to my house. All the while, one of them's worrying, and Caroline has just taped it to the visor of her car and forgot about it. She's trusted. She's singing songs. She's reading Course in Miracles. She's having a great old time as she's.
She might not be.
You know what she does? She's laying out in the sun, getting a suntan. Life is good. The other person may be calling up friends and saying, well, what should I do if the key doesn't work? Do you think it's okay if I break a window? Don't have time. I can't enjoy this sunny day.
The door down.
I need to go buy a hammer that's good enough to break a window. So for sure.
Axe at your Andrew's house.
Yeah, I got to borrow an axe. Maybe he has to reach up a second floor window. Who knows?
Front doors are very expensive, by the way. Thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
I like what you said, a
this
lot.
could cost a lot of money.
So
They do.
trust does not.
That's not trust, right? Trust
on
doesn't.
what the other person's going to do or
Yes.
how it's going to turn out. Trust is in my mind.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question.
Mhm.
I think it will help me understand it. Would you please distinguish trust and faith? What's the difference between them in your mind?
Yes, I was waiting for you to ask.
Thank you.
I was waiting. You're so cool, Andrew.
Yeah. So trust is a permission to not defend and to invest.
Yeah.
It's very personal. It's very private.
Permission.
And only you know if you trust. Faith
Is acting that out.
is acting it out. I know whether or not you have faith.
See, because
I
that's
can
the
tell.
behavior. It's acting it out.
Yes, I can tell if you have faith.
I didn't buy the axe when I came up with it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Faith is exhibited on the out. Is an external thing.
Hmm. Yes, faith
It's
is.
observable from the outside.
Yes, it's the observable commitment to the trust.
That's great. That was really good that you were able to differentiate like that.
Yep. You can see somebody in faith. So then we have Carolyn, who's at peace, and she's writing poetry with that key taped
Singing love songs.
to her visor of her
Sing it.
car. She even knows she won't forget it. She has to, she's just so comfortable.
The ego's happy with it.
She has faith.
She's like, more.
She has faith.
Growing wings in the back.
Yeah.
Jennifer's buying an axe.
Yeah, Jennifer's getting an axe.
Yeah,
She's
so
already planning how much she's willing to spend to break a window. She's saving money. She's borrowing money. She's like
she's got
ready
the
to
ladder to climb
go.
up to the window.
Yeah. So this is defending.
No, this is a really good question because I didn't know the difference between.
Yes.
I was thinking it was a cinnamon.
I thought it was
Cinnamon.
A cinnamon.
Cinnamon is what I put in my tea, but yeah, I thought it was. That's their tea, but I was
Yeah.
thinking it was a synonym.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that she really, because it seemed obvious.
Yes.
But I love when people are willing to take that chance and really ask what seems obvious, because what seems obvious is I really don't know.
That's right.
I really
Yep.
don't know the answers to those things that I think I know.
Yep.
I didn't
Yep.
realize until you explained that.
How's it different from belief? From a belief?
A belief is like one step up from the trust.
It's below.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first you believe, then you trust.
And what are you believing in?
Right.
A concept, even lower. Even lower is a concept. This whole idea, I'll give you a key. You're like, sure, I haven't seen one yet. But if you say so, Andrew. So now we're just a concept level. We're a concept level.
But a concept is a thought.
Yeah, even lower than that.
And our thoughts mean nothing.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
You know what? This girl's doing her lessons.
Yeah.
Because
That's
she's
working
nailing
it.
it. You
That's
know?
working it.
You're working your lessons.
That's
I
right.
can hear that. I know.
That's right. Yeah, these thoughts are absolutely free.
Thoughts mean nothing.
Meaningless.
Let's all go home.
And unless you string the thought into something you recognize, it's not even a concept.
Yeah.
So belief is like it's just an idea that you're buying into, right?
Now, that's it. A concept, take it or leave it. A thought, it's not even committed, but you commit a little bit to an idea with a concept. Now, raise it to a belief. I believe that this key Andrew
Plan to
gave
work.
me, let's say, might work. I believe it might work because Andrew made it, and I hope he copied the right key. What if that goofball copied the wrong key? Okay, see here the belief is? Belief comes and goes. Comes and goes. Now, trust is a further commitment. I'm going to give over this scenario in trust that this is the right key, it will open the door, I will feed the dog, everything will be fine. Do you see the level of commitment now? How far from a belief and a concept or thought have we come now? We're moving up the scale. That's why trust is so important in A Course in Miracles. Because you have to give over your life, your thoughts, your dreams.
About it. The situation.
That's right. About your being. We're talking about the whole game that you're playing.
Just letting
Is what
all
Course
that
in Miracles is
dissipate.
covering. That's why we're talking about this.
Letting all those ego thoughts dissipate. Like they just disappear.
Yeah. So, as Carolyn said, once you get to this trust point, it will serve you instantly before you get the key in the door.
That's right.
And if you believe in the
Be
trust
made whole
that we're learning,
right, the
yeah,
right way,
Yeah.
because you have trust in it.
And even if it didn't work,
Yes.
you had peace all the way through.
that's right. You've been at peace.
She wrote poetry instead of worrying about
You've been at peace all the way to the key going into the lock.
it. So who cares what happened?
You've been at the same level of peace. You see? How valuable is that to live your life amidst all the unknowns that we pursue every day?
And what are our options? Right?
Will you get a paycheck next month, or is that it?
Yeah.
Is that new Prius you bought going to continue working? Or is it, since the warranty ran out December 31st, is something suddenly going to blow for $8,000?
So we have the choice to always choose peace or be stressed. So regardless of the outcome, I'd rather go through it peacefully, even if I'm going to die of cancer.
This is the point.
I'd rather go through the whole process peacefully because my alternative is to not go through it peacefully.
Since you don't know whether it will work, and you equally don't know if it won't work.
Of course.
Isn't that true?
Of course.
We equally, none of us knows our car is still out there in the parking lot. None of us
Mine's
know.
not out there in the parking
Or
lot.
one of us
Mine's
knows.
parked on the side.
But regardless,
So how are you
going
gonna
to
choose to live in the meantime?
My life peacefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No matter what the outcome's going to be.
Yes.
Then be attached to, if the outcome's going to be this, then I'll relax. Because at least I lived part of my life in peace.
Yeah, you see the chart, the cost of if.
That's a great, this was a real, this got the big picture going.
Okay, so here we've gone. We've gone from a thought.
Trust.
It's a zip, and it comes and goes. Oh, we grabbed one of the thoughts.
Yeah. Concept.
And now we have formed it into a concept. Now we have what we might call a complete thought. That goes up to a belief. The belief is something we're going to actually buy into and own. And we're going to advance on it. We're going to trust. Because we're starting to own it. If you speak it out loud, that's like trust. I believe this. That's starting to commit to the trust. Now we go to faith, which is an action. We'll take the key, or we'll take our Course in Miracles lesson, and we'll say, I am not going to attack today. I believe attack is not justified in any form. And even though my neighbor has once again taken my garden hose, asked them not to, they once again took it. I'm not going to attack. Whatever I do as I proceed to get my garden hose back from my neighbor, I choose now, because I'm doing this, I believe in A Course in Miracles, and I trust in the ways of A Course in Miracles. I will advance on this move to get my garden hose back without attack.
That's right.
This is what it means to trust something. And now,
So to have
yeah.
no attack. That's what you're saying.
Well, it's this correct.
Yeah.
And what's behind that is what we're learning with A Course in Miracles, to empower ourselves to derail the ego, which says, no, if you attack, he'll never steal it again.
Right on. Yeah.
Well, the only reason we attack is we think that we have something to gain from it. Otherwise, we wouldn't attack.
That's right.
We think that there's something of value in it.
That's right.
Otherwise, if we didn't believe it served us,
Yes,
we would never think of doing it.
Yes.
Somehow we think it's protecting us
yes, yes, yes.
by losing our peace, attacking, defending.
Let's go back to the key. So now we take the key, and what is it that we're buying when we put the key in the door and turn it? Where did all this lead? Where did the thought, the concept, the belief, the trust, and the faith of actually, with the dog's life at stake,
He's really hungry. You better
Yeah, really.
the key, yeah, the dog is hungry by now.
Right now,
What are you guys talking about? Just get in here and feed me. Right. So you put the key in the door and you turn it, the door opens.
Real life analogies.
What do you have? What do you have?
An open door.
You have an open door. What do you have? Now the door is open.
Peace.
But see, that's not faith.
You had no. Carolyn had peace the whole time.
It's proof.
That's it.
Carolyn had
You have a dog that's
peace
fed.
the whole time because she trusted. Don't miss this point. She
You
had
all
peace.
the way.
Yeah, you may only get peace Yes, after you get delivery. Yeah, okay, I'll buy
You
that.
have an experience of peace. You
Yeah.
have an experience of faith.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. Faith is not. I think faith is right up there with trust, because once your door's open, you have proof. So it's not faith anymore. It's proof.
Is it trust?
No.
No.
You're done. It's
Is
not-
it a belief?
You're
No,
off the
you're
fire.
done.
We're done. We're done.
You're
The
done.
whole thing.
It's a
Right,
fact.
it's done.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
So all these things wash away.
Yeah.
Everything we've discussed now.
But you have an experience of trust.
You had an experience of trust on the way.
No, I mean, the whole thing is an experience
Yes.
of trust.
Yes.
And that builds my faith in trust.
Yes.
Well, that
Yeah, I know words get in the way. That's why it's,
All right.
there's no use for words in a
Now,
course of miracles.
trust feels good.
Trust feels
Trust feels good. We get peace from trust.
Yeah.
If you're doubting, you're not trusting. If you're buying an axe, like we talked about, so you can break some windows, you're not getting the peace
It's like getting the hammer out.
that gets you there. Okay, that's why we're discussing this, is because what we're talking about is how can you live your life with some modicum of happiness among so many things that do not appear trustworthy and fail so often.
Because we're not trusting.
We need a guide to navigate these waters. And
we have one.
we have one. That's why we're here. We have this blue book. We got these lessons. We meet on this. And what we're learning is what in all these all these keys, situations, can you trust? And Carolyn put her finger on it. She says, wait a minute, you know what? What if I had trust not as a particular requirement for performance, period, but a bigger picture I was trusting in?
Just a thought in your mind.
That it would work out no matter what. Key work, key not work, we'll find a way.
But this book, he's
Yeah.
constantly talking about that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He's constantly talking about the bigger picture.
Yes. And so also you read in the Manual for Teachers, it's on page 9, it says the teacher of God is trusting in the world. Because after having done the workbook, and you've gone through the text, and you've done the workbook,
have enough experience to know that when you get the situation and you get instructions and you proceed with it, it works and that's it.
you've had enough of those experiences
Yes.
where the doubts,
Yeah.
had you had them or didn't have them, and believe me, as you do the workbook for 365 days, you'll have the good days and you'll have the bad days. You'll have days when this is an easy lesson and days when, boy, I wish this was true.
So having
Right.
trust really brings us peace in our life, and that's what we're all here for, because we want peace.
Yes.
Can I read this? This is really beautiful.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
So the sentence that I'll just repeat it.
Yep.
The teachers of God have trust in the world because they have learned it is not governed by the laws the world made up. It is governed by a power that is in them,
Exactly.
but not of them.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's in us, but
Not of the world.
us.
Mm-hmm.
It is this power that keeps all things safe.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. That really
Safe.
summarizes exactly what we're doing.
It is through this
That's
power
Claudia's
that the
word.
teachers of God look on a forgiven world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is perfect. That's exactly,
Through this power.
that was perfect.
Through this power.
The power of the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that really summarizes exactly.
What page is that on, Jennifer?
It's page 9.
Yeah.
So how would you reconcile what Dick's talking about, where we get these episodes in our life, in this world, where such crazy things happen? If you don't trust your banker, who do you trust? If you can't trust your accountant, who do you trust? If you can't
Holy
trust a
Spirit.
Catholic priest with your kids, who do you trust?
Right.
So
If you can't trust the police, who do you trust?
yeah.
Yeah.
So yet this world keeps delivering challenges to our trust.
Right.
Keeps delivering challenges.
Yeah.
So Course in Miracles to the rescue in this paragraph that Jennifer just read. Jennifer the Axe Wielder, is that her new name?
Yeah, it's going to be. And by the way, there's like a sound Home Depot right
On axes?
Yep.
You know what? I think we should change the names to protect the innocent. It's really Judy.
Yeah.
It's not Jennifer. We were just kidding.
So the world is not governed.
It's a sale.
Not governed by the laws that the world made up, the laws the ego made up. This is the good news. Instead,
Governed by the Holy Spirit.
there's nothing of the world that makes you think anything. About the police, about the Catholic priests, about the biggest accounting companies, and nope, it's all up to you, and here is where your freedom lies, or within you, in your thoughts. This is where your hell arises.
Right.
Nobody can bring hell to you better than you can. And nobody can bring hell to you at all, is what we're learning, of course, in Miracles.
I want
Yep.
to read something to everybody.
We have to.
It's kind of what you're saying, but
Right.
it's even like, it's if
Yeah,
you want to look at
right.
hierarchies, it's even ramped it up again.
Okay then, because there is one more level we haven't discussed.
Well, he says that not only do we decide what we're going to trust and not, but
Yeah.
he's saying here that, for I assure you it is, your entire world is your creation. He says,
Right.
so we're creating the whole world,
Yes.
and more so, it is yourself.
Yeah.
So, like, take the X that's on sale at Home Depot. That is part of myself.
Yeah.
I mean, so that it's this is I'm just verbalizing out loud because it's
Yeah.
a little tricky to understand, and so if I have a key and I'm not like I'm freaking out, oh, what if it doesn't work? The dog's gonna die, blah blah blah. I made up the key, I made up the dog, I made up the cement windows, I made up Andrew. I made up, and not only that,
It's your dream.
but it's part of myself. That's
You're
what,
in your dream.
That's what this. I'm just repeating. I don't know if I buy this yet because this is really hard. I mean, this is
That's
huge
big.
stuff.
Well,
Your
you're
whole
reading
I'm
from...
saying the whole world is me. Like
Yeah.
that's me. That you're me. It's
Yeah,
that's
now
what
you're
this
reading
was
from the
me.
book called The Journey Beyond
Yes.
Words,
Yes.
which is designed for somebody who has gone through the entire workbook
All right.
and is hungry for some more understanding. I think it's wonderful, and I have
I
no...
love it. It's fabulous.
Yeah, it's absolutely an enhancement. Yeah, no doubt at all. And you'll get familiar with the author of A Course in Miracles after working with his book. I believe that's the exact same author. I recognize that as the same author.
Yes.
And so what I learned from A Course in Miracles, I can apply to what is said in that book as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
And these things reconcile pretty easily when you get familiar with these terms. Yeah. no doubt.
I'm reading the same book again
Nice.
several times.
Okay, so we spent a lot of time in the meditation. So, but it
Let's
was
say something.
yeah.
If we really want to live a life of peace, which I want to live,
Yeah.
would that mean that I should just trust everything?
Yes.
Just trust everything?
Because what is it that you're trusting?
I'm trusting my own thoughts. Really. I'm not trusting like that anything out there would have a certain outcome. I'm just having faith in letting go and surrendering.
Carolyn, yes, and Carolyn said it. She says, "Wait a minute, because I think you got a taste of the idea of trust. What if I just trusted the whole way through, even if the key didn't work?"
I'm glad you came to that, Carolyn.
That was excellent.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Whatever happens, it's okay.
Whatever happens, it's okay.
Because we don't really know, in our mind, we have this outcome that is the right outcome for the scenario. We feed the dog, but maybe that's really not the right outcome.
And the outcome is to have peace for me. I mean, my goal is to have peace, not to feed your dog
Yeah.
dogs.
Most
But
of
I
it
mean,
covered with a laugh.
as a result, that happens. But I want to have peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Won't you be a better
I can feed
person?
your dog peacefully or in fear.
That's
and
right.
doubt.
Right.
And
Yes.
and you're right. I'm going to be a better person, and be able. You know what? I'll be able to extend love if I'm at peace, rather than extend fear. Because
Yes.
I'm going to extend whatever I have.
Yeah. So now let's say the key doesn't work, and we got one scenario where somebody's panicking, and the other scenario where somebody is at peace. You're volunteering to be the panicker.
No,
So-
I was trying to do it without the tape picking it up, but yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Jennifer.
She's taking on the role, but she trusts.
Yeah, she's going to race off to Home Depot and buy that axe. Yeah.
On sale.
Or with the panic. Now she's driving back from Home Depot. It's 2 hours later. The poor dog is now laying down out of exhaustion with no food, and oh my God, she says
I love your dog.
she says the water bowl is dry too.
Love your dog.
Oh my God! And we got Carolyn, who has dedicated herself
She's already written a book on poetry.
to peace. And yes, right. She's written 2 poems.
She finished the whole Course in Miracles book that we've been taking a year.
She's had a taste of peace, and she found that with trust comes peace. Not trusting has this fear element.
Wait, but with trust comes peace. Go ahead, that's what?
What's it like to not trust? Lisa, what's it like to not
Fear.
trust?
You're afraid you're going to get hurt.
You're afraid you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, you got
It's awful.
Yes,
It's stressful.
exactly.
fear is the
It's stressful.
So let's talk about 2 actors here. So one of them is stressful and fierce, she's racing out to get an axe. The other is
But she's glad that she has a coupon.
she's got a coupon, so it's affordable. Her fear is
And her name
affordable.
is Judy.
And then Carolyn is taking on a path with her Course in Miracles, which says, I can choose peace instead of this. And she's done it for a while, and she's trying to learn how to justify being at peace. That's part of what we do with Course in Miracles, folks. Is you're trying to reconcile what your ego says you need to attack, you need to run, you need to hide, you need to buy these axes.
It doesn't serve us in any way.
Versus actually affording, this is a key word, affording trust.
Trusting,
Affording the
trustworthiness.
peace. This comes when you can afford it. It's the very next paragraph on this page 9, as you go to page 9 to 10.
Remember how we learned that only the trusting can afford trustworthiness?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's right. Only the trusting
I love that. I never forgot that.
can afford trust. Because, can you read that paragraph for us? You're on it.
Sure. Okay, so
Oh, that's where it comes in?
I think it's in the very next paragraph.
yes, when this power has once been experienced, it is impossible to trust one's own petty strength again. Okay, I'm sorry, let me allude to the sentence. The last sentence in the previous paragraph was, it is through this power, that power within,
Okay.
that the teachers of God look on a forgiven world. When this power has once been experienced, it is impossible to trust one's own petty strength again. Who would attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when the mighty power of an eagle has been given him? And who would place his faith in the shabby offerings of the ego when the gifts of God are laid before him? What is it that induces them to make the shift?
And then I think there's this whole taxonomy, like whole algorithm of how to develop.
Yeah.
I remember I made cards and memorized this whole
great.
thing like last year. It's this big stepwise thing of how to develop trust. Like you have to give away all your worldly things. And, I mean, right? Isn't there a part where it says give everything away?
Yes.
You lose everything. You lose your family. You lose pride. It's all the stuff you do. And
Okay, so it's on page 11. On page 11, under honesty, because he bridges, everything is based on trust.
the whole taxonomy.
Yes.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Yes, you axe wielder. Okay,
Sorry.
on page 11, under honesty, is beautiful, beautiful sentence 3. Only the trusting can afford honesty, for only they can see its value.
We studied that. That was a whole lesson in itself.
Honesty makes trustworthiness. And because you've experienced trust, you see its value.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And by God, if it's only peace, that's enough. That's enough. Yeah. So, that's right.
We can't
Okay.
be trustworthy if we're not trusting. because we're experiencing the effects of our thoughts of the trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We only experience what we think.
Yeah, you're liable not to act in faith because you're not trusting. So even though I've asked you and you've agreed to take the key and unlock the dog, or feed the dog, if you have no faith in that key, let's say, no trust at all.
You might not even keep your agreement.
You might have to back out of it. The fear's too much for you. You gave the key to somebody else I didn't even know and said, look, I can't face the idea of this key not working. I wouldn't know what to do. All the way out there at Andrew's house in the mountains. I just wouldn't know what to do if it doesn't work. Lisa, please, you take it. All right? So, well, let me just finish this.
Okay.
Let me finish this route.
All right.
So so now that we've got a scenario of a person living in peace, and then a person living out of the peace, one with trust, one not. The empowerment of living in peace means she can go to the neighbor very calmly and say, hi, you don't know me from Adam, but Andrew asked me to use this key and it doesn't work. Do you have a key to Andrew's house? To the neighbor. Can you help me get into Andrew's house to feed the dog? Whereas Jennifer here shows up with an axe over her shoulder, knocking at the neighbor's door. Say, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Boy, she's panicking. They're going to call the police.
Could you call me Judy? For the
Yeah, I don't care. All right. Anyway, so the bottom line is that what you're trying to buy is the eventuation, and as we are with our Course in Miracles work, of knowledge when it's all done.
That leads me to my question.
Okay, lay it on.
Okay, so we live in this world of aphorisms, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the one that keeps coming to mind with the key that doesn't work.
Yes, yes.
Is diss me once, shame on you.
Mm-hmm.
Diss me twice,
Yes.
shame on me.
Yes.
Okay, so now I've had the Zen experience of getting the key. It doesn't work, it's fine, and it's all good. It's not about the outcome.
Yes.
But you can be darn sure.
Yes.
Next time you go to Tahiti or wherever you're going and you ask me to feed your dog and you get me a key,
Yes.
I'm probably going to think, last time the copy didn't work.
Yes.
That's the knowledge I procured.
Yes,
from
it
this
is.
story.
It absolutely is.
So now, would it not be inane of me
Yes.
not?
Yes.
I mean, would it not be foolish for me to trust that I already know this person that makes these keys
Yes.
may not be all that
Yes. Yes.
competent?
Yes.
So the key probably may not work again. I mean, a different key.
Let's say
I mean, I
you
have this information. I have that experience.
you have earned from experience
Yes.
knowledge.
Yes.
Now you know what to trust. You know you can trust that my keys don't work. You can rest
But no,
and you can behave in peace as you say,
You
Andrew,
can trust that he can give you. That's what I'm saying.
give me your
You
key.
can trust him for who he is.
Andrew, you take the
You can
copy.
trust him for what he's capable of being or doing.
Okay, but
Not that he's going to deliver the goods.
Can I darken it up a bit or not?
Yeah, darken it up.
I'll darken it up. Okay, so I love the key thing.
darken
Dogs.
Let's work
no,
it.
this is not funny. This is going to be horrible.
Let's work it.
But it's because I think the issues of trust are profound.
Mm-hmm.
And I think trust is something that we yearn for in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we have much of it at all. Look at the plethora of lawyers.
Yeah.
If we trusted, we wouldn't need lawyers.
What was my last question in the meditation?
How much?
Is there anything in this world
That you
you can
completely
trust
trust?
100%?
Wow, that's just what you're saying.
That's what I'm trying to say.
exactly
So
what you're saying. We never got to that.
Oh, it's really good, too, dog.
You were on a roll there.
Oh,
Axie?
you're on fire. This is right on.
But
Oh, I was going to darken it up.
I think you're always basing it on having the outcome be what you want.
Okay, no.
Right.
And I finished my thought. This is important.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to darken it up because it is so profound, and we don't really have much trust
Aha.
in our ego world.
Uh-huh.
We just don't. Look at all the lawyers. Look at. I mean, I had to sign a paper when I rented a room that if a horse stepped on me. I mean, I'm not even near the horse. You know what I mean? But I had to sign all these things. Like, for goodness sake, I'm just renting a room. You know. But okay. Regardless, if let's say you're in I just read something horrible. I shouldn't read these things, but I read it was a third world country, and it was about a saying. Okay, so there's an executioner. The executioner killed, it's like he's like, oh, I won't kill you, and then boom, he shoots somebody right in front of you, and then he puts you in front and says, oh, I'm not going to kill you. Do you trust? See, this is what I'm saying. Like, once somebody, you've seen them do something, so what
Trust them.
I mean, how do you develop trust if someone says, oh, I won't kill you, when you just saw them
You
kill
trust them to
previous
do what
people?
they would do. What you saw.
But do you trust their words? If they
Let
say,
me
"Oh, I
ask
won't
you
kill,"
again.
No.
Okay, you don't trust their words.
No, that's not trusting is not from out there. It's from in here. You're trusting to count on that person to be who they are. And if that person is a murderer, you're going to trust that person's a murderer. Trust does not come from out there.
So it's not about the
It's not-
words
it's not
or
about-
the
yeah.
stuff that people
Yeah,
say.
right,
And
right.
But maybe inside what you're maybe
Trust
alluding
is-
to is that you trust the Holy Spirit. Well, maybe you're supposed to die, and it is supposed to be the blessing.
No, or you trust that he does
you're
what
getting
he
at,
does.
like,
You trust that he shoots people.
You
We
trust the truth
that.
of what they are.
You trust the truth.
I mean, you never expect a dog to meow, right? Even if somebody says, this is a cat, and it's really a dog. You're not going to be listening for meow. You're going to go, yeah, right. This is a dog. It barks.
You trust that man to shoot people.
You trust that man to shoot people, regardless of what he says. Like, if someone says,
Regardless of what he says.
like I would happen to have the experience.
You know
The world trust is all about the words
Okay.
and out there, but it's
Now-
all about
Okay, now what we're going to get stuck in is taking details of the world and trying to find a way to manage the world with an executioner. This is not the goal.
that person doesn't even
The
know.
goal is to learn if we found something that we could trust in that was worthy of bringing us peace, even if the key doesn't work. That is where we're going with this book.
We want peace.
With the executioner, or you're borrowing somebody's car, is it actually going to get you down the freeway? This applies. Are you going to find out in fear, or are you going to find out in peace?
Oh, okay. All right.
It's all that
The
we
goal
should
is
be
peace.
focusing
That's why
on.
we're here.
Goal is peace. So if you're going to be executed, you might as well be executed in peace.
That's right.
Yes, I agree. It's just so.
If you are going to, if you're going to run from the executioner,
Yeah. Run peacefully.
you're a lot better running in peace. If you run in fear, you're going to trip over your shoelaces, your own feet, and you get shot because you were so slow trying to run.
Whether or not you die happy is up to you.
I am.
Whether or not you're happy, period, is up to you.
There was a
Live or dead. Yeah.
I was saying this was a previous group I was in. He was leading the group, and he was talking about you can jump off the building smiling, or you can jump off the building screaming. It's up to you. That's what he said. So it was like,
Profound words.
yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what you're saying.
It's up to you.
Or not jump.
We're not jumping.
That's
Just-
or
But would
hang
it,
out at Andrew's house and play with the dogs.
it's all what we're learning to do with the idea of trust.
We're trying to find ways that we can really choose peace in our life.
In fact, so we only have 15 minutes left, so let's just stay on trust, and we'll get back to our
We're going
reading.
to go back to 3:34.
I think we shouldn't. We'll go back to our regular reading next week
Yeah.
So
because we couldn't do the paragraph justice with this little time. We've really run over. Usually we don't run this far on the meditation, but this is kind of fun tonight. So
I
let's.
think there's a lot more to trust, if I remember,
So always.
Mhm.
than what we talked about.
Oh yeah.
That for me was the most difficult part. There's like 7 different approaches or steps.
You mean the development to trust?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even, to get started. And then you really can't go on with any of the other qualities until you got that one straight.
Yes.
And I thought that might be several lifetimes just working on the first one.
Yeah. 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 So what it is? We'll take a few looks at trust with our time we have. One way is we could look at lesson 253. This is workbook page 421. This has a little bit of insight into trust. It's a quick little piece we could, for the time we have left. This is page 421 in the workbook, short lesson, number 253. Myself is ruler of the universe.
Wait, I'm lost. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're in the workbook now.
441?
It's page 421.
421.
421 in the workbook.
Okay. I'm there.
And the one on the top is 253. Myself, with a capital S, is ruler of the universe. Now, it's impossible that anything should come to me unbidden by myself. And if you like a book, we have a stack here.
That's a hell of
Okay.
a statement, isn't it?
Yeah, now, we're 253 lessons in. We're 1,000 pages into the book here. And at this point, it's time to claim the faith.
Right.
Claim the truth that we've
Sure is.
been trusting
Tag you're in.
for 1,000 pages. That's right. It's impossible that anything should come to me unbidden by myself.
There you go.
And if you've done these workbook lessons so far, you're owning that. Even in this world, it is I who rule my destiny.
I
Even
who rule my what?
my destiny.
That's good.
Even in this world, it says.
Yeah.
Even in this insane world of separation.
Yeah, yeah.
Even in this world, it is I. Like the man jumping off the building.
Means
I-
the ego's in charge.
Rule my destiny. So Carolyn is ruling her destiny as she chooses trust from the beginning. He gave me the key. I'm going to try the key. That's all there is to it. We'll find out today at 3 o'clock when I get there. It's all it's enough. She's at peace. Her destiny now is peace until 3 o'clock at least, if not.
And even if it doesn't,
Even if not.
if it doesn't
If she's
work,
good at it,
she's going to
that's
be
right.
better at being creative if she's at peace to
Yeah.
figure out what to do. Because your mind has that openness that things,
Open.
you think about things that you never think of that pop in
Uh-huh.
through spirit.
Yeah.
Like, what should I do, spirit? Where should I go?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, stuff opens up, but when you're in fear, it's contracted.
Contracted.
And those creative things I have experienced do not happen. Like, logically, all those possibilities have closed doors. It's like, can't
Right.
do this, can't do. But when I'm at peace, all of a sudden, something that didn't seem possible that I never would have thought of pops up. Like, oh.
There you go. There you go.
So if she's at peace, even a better outcome will happen because she'll be able to do
Yes.
what she needs to do better.
It turns out that peace is fertile ground for creativity, for sharing, for joining,
It was so nice
and
of
it is
you
required
to
for
come
life.
here to help us complete this lesson.
Yeah.
In peace, you will find people so willing to help you. It's like magic,
It's true. It is. Because I think we've all experienced that.
but it's not magic at all, is it?
No, it's spirit. It's spirit that was always there when we let go of all the stuff that blocked us. It was always there.
Okay. Even in this world, it's I who rule my destiny. What happens is what I desire. What does not occur is what I do not want to happen. This must I accept.
This must I accept.
Accept. I
Yeah.
must accept that it's me, my thoughts, what happens or what doesn't happen, comes from my desire.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. This must I, for thus am I held, or led, for thus am I led past this world to my creations, children of my will, in heaven where my holy self abides with them, and him who has created me. Let me read that again.
This is a lot to chew.
By taking responsibility for your desires, are you led past this world to your creations, which are the children of your will. Carolyn's experience?
Like the fruit that the tree yields. Right?
Yes. Her fruit will be the peace she had from choosing trust and peace all through the day as she went to handle the key and the dog.
So that will be the children, like the...
That becomes her life. All those hours and the people she met and at Trader Joe's and the policeman that pulled her over will all be affected by whether or not she had chose peace around this very important thing.
We're not choosing it just for ourselves, but to heal. We're an extension, so we're healing the minds of everyone. We're doing it.
When her daughter calls her up at noon, she 3 hours more to go, she talks to Carolyn, she'll have an experience, and the experience will feed right back to Carolyn. Is she able to listen to her daughter talk about, once again, that petty issue at school? Versus our other example here, Jennifer is frantic, frenetic.
The name is Judy.
Oh my God, Home Depot's out of axes.
One time he records it, you're a total example.
I only have 3 hours
I
left.
think we should steal that tape. From the way. Trust that we're going to do that.
And so this will be
Trust that we're going to rob it.
the outcome of her will is going to expand in her day. And when her daughter calls up with that petty issue, will Mom be patient and understanding?
Yes.
Just get me the axe I need. I'll see whatever you say. Yeah. You see what I'm talking about? It's just like that, minute by minute.
Just get me that axe. And don't be late for dinner.
But this is your life, folks. You live every minute because you rule your mind and you get what it is you're making.
Yeah. So we are 100%, I am 100% responsible for everything that happens in my life and for everything I experience.
Yep.
That's why forgiveness is so important.
This is
Yes, it
where
is.
the fly in the ointment shows up for me. Okay,
Yeah.
so why would somebody choose to be put into I don't know, like a prison in Zimbabwe? Why would somebody choose that? You know, like, what were they thinking? You know, when they made this, what is
Yes.
it? Where is it?
Yes. You want a short answer or the long answer?
I just want an answer. I don't get it. I want, like, why? Why, you know, why would this person be
Because if they would sit in a
Zimbabwe?
prison and suffer in
In
Zimbabwe,
peace, right? They're choosing
if they would sit in prison and suffer in Zimbabwe
Okay.
for, say, 20 years,
Yes.
nearing starvation,
Yes.
wouldn't that prove that the body was real? Because it hurt for 20 years, and God was not real. Wouldn't it?
It proves
Isn't that a good way to prove God doesn't care and isn't real?
About the body.
Is if you suffer in a body for 20 years in Zimbabwe? I just an answer.
Why would they choose that, though? I don't get it.
Because
I'm
they were
not
busy trying. They're busy, and if you want to know why, this is a higher order decision than what you're accustomed. The lower order decision is they didn't choose. They got imprisoned and stuck, and they're victims of the world. That's the lowest order. That's what they say in the newspapers. In the ego, we'll say, forget the spiritual stuff.
fear.
Forget the spiritual stuff. You broke a law. You go to prison. You had a mistaken identity with somebody in Zimbabwe. That's just the way it happens. Too bad for you.
Okay. Now, get
That's the world.
inside their head. Like, here they are in the... How can they look at that spiritually and in peace? They're inside the prison. They were wrongfully accused. They're in Zimbabwe. Parents don't know where they are. Whatever. You know.
Yes, yes.
It's a big tolerance.
Well, it's just like Carolyn said. She said, I think I'm going to have trust and peace, even if the key doesn't work.
Okay.
Do you see, that allows her to have peace, that she can afford peace, because she's already decided for the bigger picture without the outcome being required. She's therefore let go of attachment to the world performing and bringing her peace.
Yeah, what the world says or does has nothing to do with whether we're peaceful.
She's decided to rule her mind.
the question, I understand that, and that obviously is the noble path.
Can you be at peace sitting in jail for 20 years?
Absolutely.
And they said, you're gonna, you know what? We were going to let you out tomorrow because it's your 20-year anniversary, but we decided to keep you for 20 more years because 40 is a nice round number now. Can you be at peace?
In your mind, you have a choice.
Yes, of course, you have a choice, but I have a question for this. I know you're right, and you can be at peace, and yes. But I'm still kind of wrapping my mind around the part that says, what happens is what I desire.
Yep.
So where did this person desire to be imprisoned in Zimbabwe?
Yep.
On what plane?
The course covers this in chapter 27 and in the beginning of 28, and it describes in a very satisfying detail where that prison came from, why you're sitting in it, and why do you think you can't get out? If you're so powerful to make a prison, why can't you just walk right through the wall?
Yeah.
It's called this is the dreamer of the dream. You are not the one in the prison. Lesson 253 is not talking about the body that is locked behind bars in Zimbabwe. It's talking about the real you. The real you that will survive the prison, just like you'll survive doing these lessons.
But why did my spirit want to, or why did this person's spirit want to be in Zimbabwe? That's what I'm trying to figure that out. Like, what did the spirit have in mind? To build tough skin or something? Thick skin? Is this, like God's boot camp or what? I mean, you see.
Well, what the sleeping child of God had in mind is, how can I have my own kingdom apart from the real kingdom? Can I make my own kingdom as a child, as a little extension of God? You had this tiny mad idea that says, what if I could actually be independent of God? And you remembered not to laugh because it's so silly that somehow everything is included in God, could somehow go off and be someplace else when God is all inclusive. It's kind of impossible math. But you remembered not to laugh, and in this desired forgetting, did it seem like it was real and have real outcomes? And then, because you know at the heart of hearts in your deepest mind that all is one and all is love and God is giving all the time, and that is from where you came, you had to make a prison in Zimbabwe and lots of people to sit in it and complain about pain so that you could possibly experience your wish that you did it. I made it separate from God. And you've been struggling ever since
You believe that.
to prove duality and separation. This is what the world is. This is what separation is. It's a mad, means insane, dream
But she wanted to prove
of
the ego was right.
separation. To prove the ego
Was
is
God.
your identity and your savior.
But no,
Because that's part of the dream.
next step, though, is he set it up
Yes.
to bring him home.
Mm-hmm.
He set up Zimbabwe. The spirit set up Zimbabwe
Yeah.
prison.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be so bad
Yes.
that it would send him home.
Okay.
Is that what you're getting at?
Because if you would appeal to the Holy Spirit,
Right. You would
Then-
realize I can't be separate.
lesson 193, title of 193 is, all things are lessons God would have me learn. And the Zimbabwe prison,
193.
or maybe it's your petulant 14-year-old kid,
So
would become
the body's
become
being used to learn
teachers.
lessons, spiritual lessons. That's
it's all the Course in Miracles says we will now use the nightmare that you've made and all the components of it as your teacher.
So that's why we're in a body, to communicate
Now it
Feel
is.
our
It's not why you got.
minds.
No, it's not why you got into a body, right?
No,
That's why you're in a body now.
that's where I'm in the body now. To learn lessons. That's the only purpose of the body.
This is not why you made time. Time
Well,
was a way to separate you from now.
We wanted to create separate.
Where God is, where peace is, where love is, I should say when. When God is, when peace is, when love is right now. If you want to get away from love, you want to get away from peace, we're going to need something. Any ideas? Time. How about the future when things could go bad? How about the past when, they were so bad they're bound to repeat? There you go. You did it. You did it. You created a way to get out. Same with Zimbabwe in the prison. And all things of material in the body and the world.
Thank you for asking that question. I mean, you always wonder that.
Yeah.
But you never want to be the one.
People listening to the tape, the one who compliments everyone on everything they say is Wendy.
She's not the axe wielder.
Wendy.
Yeah.
You always say it's just so nice.
No, because that's the question. It's the same question we all have.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
nobody wants to be the one to ask it.
I don't have a problem with that.
I know. But I mean, that thank you. Because it's like, it's always the things that seem obvious that are the greatest lessons.
Yes. All right, so we've run out of time.
I mean, I didn't realize all this until you explained it. So
Yeah.
we created separation, and then we got into this time and all this stuff.
Trying to make it real.
Got a body.
So you could
to
feel
make
it,
real.
manifest it.
And now we're going to prove
Yes.
that we are a body by suffering, by having past and future.
Good way to do it.
And we're going to prove it. And this guy in Zimbabwe proved it by believing this dream.
Mm-hmm.
But yet he could do it in peace.
Yes.
Now, if you do it in
Trust.
peace,
Not in the outcome, just in peace.
If he doesn't want to continue to worship separation,
if you choose peace, if you choose trust,
he has to choose something different.
the ways of the world begin to fail.
Hey, that's a good point.
Great.
This is good. Keep going.
This is the good news.
Yeah.
This is that paragraph on page 9, the Manual for Teachers. The teacher of God learns that the ways of the world fail by simply choosing peace instead of the ways of the world. The outcome of that is that you survive with a smile on your face. That's what happens.
And you don't
Maybe even a laugh.
identify.
Maybe even laugh, yeah.
And you don't identify with all this judgment, because what painful is not hearing these words, but identifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it
That's
hurts.
You bet.
Well, you identify with the dream or the story and think it's us. Our personality think it's us. You know.
If you do this, you actually choose to trust.
I'm signing up.
You choose not to have faith in the world's ways, where it's loss. You will find yourself laughing at the absurdity of all the worrying you could have done.
Sounds so good.
When you got to my house, and you found out that the dog is outside in the yard, unlocked, with a food right there in a big bucket, and you didn't need the key. All the worrying you could have done. Or the key works fine. The key works fine.
And you didn't even need it.
You didn't have to worry. The key doesn't work fine, but the window was open. You didn't need to worry. There was a neighbor who said, "Oh, I have a key, no problem."
Yeah.
You didn't need to worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, each thing is each incident, each story, each whatever
Yep,
is all of our own making.
that's right. And the point is not the story at all.
All the what ifs are on
The point is really not the story at all. It's the journey. The journey to whatever the story turns out, even if the dog dies.
Yeah.
It's a matter of choosing peace. And when you do, the ways of the world begin to fail one after the other. Attack wasn't needed. Worry wasn't needed. Defense wasn't needed.
I love what you said about
Just
the ways of the world.
Trust, and the trust buys what? It buys an experience, because you ended up trusting with faith. You went through an activity.
Yeah, you have an experience.
You had an experience
of trust.
of
Trustworthiness.
yes. And now you have, eventually, with enough of these things, the knowledge that A Course in Miracles is talking about. The big prize here is that you will learn that indeed, every step of the way, and including the steps you haven't taken at some point, you rule your mind. You are the ruler of the entire universe, of all your possible experiences. This is what enlightenment buys you, is that there's more to go. But at some point you recognize that it was true before, and all the times you knew or didn't know, as it is now, the moment of your enlightenment, you are in control of whether you smile or you frown. And so it shall be with every other moment of your existence. And that you trust that the world is not governed by the rules it made up, which are loss and grief and death, with a little bit of happiness sprinkled in just to keep you going.
I rule my mind.
Yes.
That's beautiful, Amy, the way you weave that all together.
Yeah, yes.
Well, that's
We
fun.
got so caught up on trust, trusting, faith, and it's all about choosing peace.
It's all about it's all about.
It's all about why we're here, because we all want peace.
And you know, and this book will give us a guide, day by day, hour by hour, even minute by minute, with a lot of background to, and you know what it is we're trusting, how to trust, what to do, what to say, when, all that.
Or not to say.
Or not to say.
I always say, instead of showing me what to do, where to go, what to say, and to whom I say what not to say.
Help me be quiet.
That's what I say now. I learned when I don't say anything, it's so much better.
Yeah.
It's really true. I used to wake up saying, Holy Spirit, seriously, this is your day, not mine. Show me where to go, what to do, what not to say. I said that this morning.
Tell me what to do.
Tell me what not to say and to
It was
whom.
me. There you go.
Okay, Dick. All right.